Welcome back, my creative fellas. It's that time of the year again. This is gonna be a free video for everyone. This video contains super awesome content, not suitable for people who do not enjoy super awesomeness. This has been made for skeletons and vampires, bloody creatures, boogeymen and Frankensteins, zombies and witches. Sponsored by Hotel Transylvania. I'm just fucking with you. Let's get started, baby. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. So today I'm gonna walk you through the process of how I made this Halloween special art. And I know this is going to be something you're going to learn a lot because I'll show you how I use different stock photos and what workflow I got and what tips and tricks I use. This is going to be a speed art, but hopefully it has commentary so you'll know what I do. You don't have to sit there and watch the whole 6 hours that I made this piece. This one took about 6 to 7 hours, and I know that's gonna be a lot, but for you this is gonna be jam-packed of information. Plus I've got a bonus video for you at the end, so make sure to stick to the end of the video and follow me on Instagram. I've got plenty of great content over there. Make yourself at home. And now let's get into the video. I usually start with a rough sketch. This is going to help me get better results later on. The good thing about it is that you can draw anything and you are not limited at all. Draw anything. This is kind of like brainstorming. If you know what you're going to create before even you start, that's a great advantage. So I highly recommend you draw a sketch before you start. And you should not really be expecting to find the perfect photo for your composition right off the bat. Sometimes you have to search a lot, and sometimes you find a photo that is gonna need a little tweaking. For example, like this one, I found a ground, but I need to do a little content aware field to get rid of that pile of hay in the middle. But anyway, just think outside of the box and do not expect that photos are perfect. You have to make them perfect. And I was looking for a night scene. Obviously this is gonna be spooky, so it needs to be night. And I started matching the values and colors right off the bat. This was going to have some blue dark tones, so I did that. I make everything darker. Just as I bring in a new element, I match its value and color. Makes the job a lot easier. Don't let your elements pile up. Start color matching from the very beginning. And there was supposed to be a hill back there and with a house on it. Those Halloween related spooky houses with bends and twists, which are thinner at the bottom and thicker at the top, and they look very old, made out of wood. You know what I mean. So I masked out a photo of a medieval house that I found, and I brought it in and used the warp tool to create that kind of cool cartoonish effect. Just the house bends and twists, like make it bulgy at the top and thin at the bottom. And I used another similar house and put it at the front of the bigger house now to make it more interesting. That's all about visual interest, you know. Go for what you feel like. And there was supposed to be some pine trees behind these rocks, so I did that using another stock photo of some pine trees. Very, very surprising. And the big question is, do you have to follow your sketch strictly and without any changes? That's a big no-no. You know, you can make changes at any stage. Maybe an hour later you've done your sketch, you finally realize that your sketch sucks. So you need to change something about it, just as I did. And you'll notice that in this video. And I'm finally starting to bring in some background and some sky. Just, you know, the image was too boring to look at with a solid gray background, right? The moment that I bring in the sky to my photo, it's just like the whole thing just reincarnates. And here comes the star of the show. Everybody, please stand up. Yo, cameraman, can we please take a closer look at this dude? Y'all can appreciate how I made myself crippled for this photo. That's called dedication. Some of you may have noticed that the zombie in the photo was me, and some of you may have not. But overall, this is what I started with. Almost what I started with. The body is all weird. I made it look weird. Maybe I'll show you later on how I made myself look like a zombie. It's quite easy though. Yes, I painted some patches on the pants just to make this guy look more old and creepy, and also some VR glasses on the head. You know, the idea of a modern zombie came to me after I saw an illustration by the guy named Antoine Vernier on ArtStation. He's a great illustrator and 3D modeler, so that was my inspiration right there. So the whole idea here was a zombie who has been a graphic designer, a designer zombie, something like that, and I wanted to look modern and old at the same time. You know, a cool paradox right here. You just always have to look for some contrast in your artwork, whether it's with colors, tones, images, or even like with the concepts. That'll turn out something great if you got some good paradox in your photo. And as you may have noticed so far, there's a lot of painting going into this piece, and sometimes in the process of making your manipulation, you're gonna notice that you can't find any stock photos that is going to suit your needs. So you have to create your own stock photos, aka paint them or model them in any 3D program. Painting is kind of my style. I like to paint a lot, so I do that every time I get the chance to. It's also a great exercise. I didn't want to bore you by making you sit and watch the whole painting process, so I skipped that and you can see the final result. It's not as easy as it seems. I mean, it took a lot of time, so that's probably why I skipped it, but there you go. I finally was able to paint the glasses just like the inspiration that I found, and I'm satisfied with it, so I'm moving on to the mouth right now. And for the mouth as well, I didn't find any good stock photos that matched what I had in mind, so I had to paint that too. But this is not what you see in the final image, because I later on changed my mind. I tried out a bunch of different ideas, and finally I picked the one that I most liked. My initial thought on this was a fun looking zombie with a mouth that kind of looks cartoonish, but later on I changed my mind, and you'll see about that.
Much later.
Yeah, still painting. After I painted the mouth with a lot of a struggle, because it's really hard to get that realistic look when you're trying to paint something like this, I decided to move on to the background to work more on the details, creating that depth and giving the whole image that Halloween feeling that we're looking for, baby. First, I painted some fog back there just to make this image more spooky and give it also more depth, because that's what we're going for every time we're trying to create a composite. Then I made these pumpkins look more realistic and more 3D by painting some shadows underneath and on top of them. Remember, shadows are what's going to make your photo look real. And then I refined the look of these little guys, because they were looking too clean and too neat for what I needed. I wanted them to look more like they are aged out, so putting a couple holes in them is going to definitely make an impact. After messing around with these pumpkins, I started working on the left side of the photo, because that's where it's going to be my second focal point of the whole composition, so it needs some attention. I wanted to put a big ass pumpkin over there, some ghosts, some candles, and I wanted the bright orange light coming out of there. So let's do that. You can see I removed the house that I had already put over there because it was not looking correct in terms of perspective, but instead of that I painted some grass and also brought in some candles just to put in there, because this is a special date night for this guy. So let's play it romantic. Ever seen a zombie date night? Well, I haven't. You can see I changed my mind a lot during this composition, because every time I took a break I had something new in mind. So at first I had put those candles on top of a rock, but then I changed that with a big pumpkin. The moral of the story is never be afraid to change your shit. And I went ahead and painted some trees as well because I couldn't find the kind of a photo that I wanted. This is a struggle for all you manipulators out there. I feel you and I got you. No worries.
I got you, homie!
And actually, for painting these types of glows, I do not use blend modes, I paint them. If you've got a good understanding of how light functions and if you know how to choose proper colors, it's a lot more easier to paint instead of using blend modes and get confused with all the options you got. That's why I suggest you start painting. That's just a great way to improve your skills and get out of that comfort zone you've been trapped in for years. And the best way to paint highlights on surfaces such as rocks, grounds, tree barks, stuff like these is the holy blend if. And I'm taking my time refining these small details because at the end, little by little makes a nickel. And you know what? A pumpkin cart would really fit the scene because this is a pumpkin field and there's gotta be somebody who picks these up. Maybe that is the farmer's house back there and he's having a great night with his family. And you can already tell I've got a great sense of storytelling. No bragging about it. And a spooky scene is not complete without one of those spooky trees. Change my mind. We both know you and I can never get enough of pumpkins. That's the reality. A thunderbolt would really make these colors pop. You always have to look for contrast, remember? And one of the greatest aspects of contrast is in colors and tones. By putting a blue lightning next to the orange pumpkin, we get a really nice complementary color harmony, which happens to be my favorite. And you know, for painting flames, fires, and magic, I always owe to Max Sabin. He has just a great technique, it's very unique and makes the job of painting these kind of stuff a whole lot easier. I always use his technique as much as I can in my paintings, just gives him some more fantasy look and I love it. So thank you Max, great shout out to you, such a legend.
5 minutes later.
After I painted those fires and blue lights on top of that lamppost, I moved on to changing the mouth shape because I didn't like it. This is the point where I decided to try it a couple more and I finally chose that skeleton one. I needed it to be like the pumpkins around it, so I decided to make this zombie kind of look like a pumpkin with some glow inside it. Foolproof creativity. And you know, it's not really a hard job to change facial features, you just need to be a bit more comfortable using Photoshop. Perhaps 3 to 4 years of practice. Just kidding. With great light source comes great highlights. Just remember that. Forgetting to paint highlights is going to ruin your whole image. That's just a very, very dumb mistake. So
always check your artwork before freaking publishing it to your social media and bragging about the mess you made. I know what you did there.
And just for the sake of making this guy look more modernized and civilized, I'm going to give him some armory because I want to make him look like it's made out of metal. And this is where the painting skills comes really in handy, because if you want to find stock photos for every part of this body, you're gonna have to go through hell, and we all know how bad it is to have to find stock photos that you don't really want to find. To be honest, I was thinking of Frankenstein when I was making this. That motherfucker looked badass with all those stitches and screws in his body. He's all screwed up, he's just a great boogeyman, one of my favorite. So I tried to achieve a similar look, almost kind of making myself Stitchy with that helmet made out of pumpkin. This just looks so weird. This is a character I would never see in any kind of movie, and I would never want to see one. So I made it. This is like where the creativity hits just I'm literally screwing myself right now. And just so you know, I was holding a pen and a tablet, but I downloaded a stylus PNG. Wanted to change that with the one in my hand because I just wanted to show off a little bit more. The one in my hand got a little blurry because I was moving it when I was shooting. Just really hard to pose like a zombie. Wait for the bonus at the end of the video. Okay, he's into metal music, like heavy metal. And I got the type tool and I typed in the word brains, and I'm using a font named Glitchy, and just using the warp tool I made it sit on those glasses because they are really a pair of virtual reality glasses, so they needed to show off something. Maybe they didn't, but I wanted them to show off the word brains, and I just made it look more glitchy using blending options, and with some blend modes and all, made them glow. So there you go, we got some cool looking glasses on this guy's face, and I think the color pink would really sell the fact that this is like futuristic. From now on, I'm just gonna focus more on the little details, refining the stuff that I had previously made just to make sure they are perfect, and also adding some more details, perhaps making some rim lights on these pumpkins in the ground and hiding them behind some grasses, because in the end it's all these details that will come together and make your whole composite look way more interesting. And also added some extra taste to this whole image by adding a spider web over there just to make it more visually interesting, and also some smoke in the air. And for these I just used overlays that I downloaded. It's nothing too crazy. Refined them a little bit, made them blurry, and changed their colors. That's all I did, and I think they looked sick. And you already know how I like to color grade my photos. It's all about LUTs, baby. Just LUT over LUT and keep going till your whole image is fully color graded the way you want it. I believe it's the easy way and the most efficient way to color grade your photos. I also got a color grading video. I'm gonna link it in the description. Make sure to check that out if you want to know how to color grade your photos using the LUTs that are already built inside Photoshop. And there you have it, guys. This is how you can make a very cool looking Halloween special. I hope you enjoyed watching this one, and if you've come this far, do not leave yet. I've got a bonus video for you. I'm gonna show you how to make yourself look like this kind of zombie. So let's go ahead. It's hard to pose like a zombie. I'm warning you. If you want to do this, make sure you're ready and warmed up before you start posing.
Enemy spotted.
Here I've got this photo, and I'm going to show you how to make yourself look like a dumbass zombie. So it is all going to be happening inside the lovely Liquify. So let's go to filter and down to Liquify. Before that, let's make a copy out of it. Control J so that we can compare it. Let's go to filter, Liquify. Okay, let's start, and I'm going to start by making my legs look like some chopsticks. And the way we're gonna do that, I'm just gonna get this forward warp tool and start pushing these pixels in, just like that. You can push this as far as you want to. And for some areas, let me just make my ass a little smaller. Don't jinx me. I don't want to touch my hands, so I hit F, and I'm going to paint on top of it to create this mask so that I don't touch it. Hit W, get this forward warp tool once more, and let's go ahead. Just make this chopstick. Let's get in here. Just remember, every time you want to push some pixels inside, you're going to lose some quality. But in this case, it's not going to be massive, so that won't have a huge impact. I don't worry about that for now. So let's just keep on doing it. I'm going to remove the mask by hitting D and painting here. This will remove the mask you have created. Just like that. You know, the whole beauty of this is that you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Nobody's here to judge you. Man, this is going to be my own version of zombie. You know, zombies are just, mostly skeletons. I'm thinking of something that's skeleton inside with some outfit on the outside. So that's what I'm going for. It's a freaking skeleton. Look at that. Looking cool. Now, let's go work on the top part of the body. You know, these arms, I'm just going to shrink them down a little bit, make them skinny, like this. And keep them straight. You don't want to make them like curvy and shit. This is a zombie, man. These are gonna be like bones. They shouldn't be curvy. Okay, cool. Let's go to the other hand. You just want to make this guy skinny as possible. Okay, looking cool so far. Look at that. Let's take a look. Alright. There we go. And now, one more thing. You always want to make this guy grumpy. Just like it has a hunchback, you know? So pull these up. Make him have a hunchback. That'll make him more interesting. Like, you can make the neck thicker or thinner depending on the kind of zombie you're going for, but I'm going to make it look like this so that it looks like there's a lump over here. Cool. Okay, I'm kind of satisfied with this, and I'm going a little too extreme. Like, you can push this inside, but okay, I messed up with the hand. I'm gonna undo that. Again, get my freeze mask tool, paint in here, and then push these inside. Alright, just erase. These tools are so effective. You just have to know how to use them to achieve the look that you want. You can do a lot of things in here, so do not underestimate this. There we go, just turned myself into a freaking zombie. You can try this in your own photos, and if you did, send me your photos. I'm just so willing to take a look at what you did. Maybe I will share them. I so like the zombie stuff. So send me your photos. You can send me your photos on Instagram. You can Gmail me. Do whatever. But I so want to take a look at your own versions of zombies. Here's the before. Here's the after. Looking sick. Okay, it's ready to use. You can take this, use it in your own composition, and you can use the other techniques I told you to create a cool looking zombie out of yourself. Maybe put some bones, some meats, something. And do not leave yet, because we've got honorable mentions. These are the very first photos that have been shared with me via my hashtag on Instagram, #Justin_designs, and it's kind of my favorites, so I wanted to give them a shout out for using that hashtag and also share their art with you. So if you're not following them, go ahead, drop a follow. So let's take a look. I really appreciate you staying with me till the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, make sure to drop a like in the comment and also subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any future videos. Now, my friend, you can click on any one of these 2 videos of mine. You go straight to that video and start watching. I got some great playlists on my channel. You're going to learn a lot from them if you are into photo manipulation. Until next week, take care and peace out.